Hello everyone. My name is Abigail Sankale. I'm a 10th grade student that attends Fort Zumal East High, and today I'm going to be talking about substance use disorder. So the first thing I want to do in sharing this is describe in detail what substance use disorder is. So, substance use disorder, or SUD, is basically um, when somebody may be using or overusing specifically harmful substances such as drugs and or alcohol. This includes like illegal drugs and both prescription medications if they are taken um, outside of what the recommended dosage is. And then the effects of this can affect not only their physical health, but as well as their mental health, performance in both school and work, and affect the relationships that they have. It definitely takes a toll on their day-to-day life. And because it is an addiction, it can make it difficult to stop and kind of like distance themselves away from that. So it's very important that you are able to identify it early so that you can stop it from getting to a further point. So why it matters. So, substance use affects health and safety for both the body and the brain, as I mentioned earlier. Um, and when we are talking about the brain, it's very important that we know that um, the brain does not, especially the frontal cortex, does not fully develop until you're 25. So when we're seeing teenagers overusing and overdosing on these things due to substance use disorder, it's really affecting them, really affecting their development and how they should be able to perform in school or work. They won't be able to perform at that max capacity. So over here we see a graph um, that has basically shows the different types of drug overdose deaths that have happened since 2000 to 2022. And we definitely see, I feel like a lot of people know about this drug, that fentanyl had a spike in the year of 2014. And we see here the most important thing to point out besides that is the drop in heroin that happened. And those two kind of coincide with each other. So fentanyl is a synthetic drug, so it doesn't require the same um, growing methods that heroin does because it does come from the poppy plant. So because it doesn't have to grow and they still get a very they still get a very good high from fentanyl. That's what made it so much more popular than heroin. That way you don't have to wait for it to grow. You could just make it whenever you want and mix it in with other drugs to give that same really high as like heroin might be able to give since it's a very potent drug as well. Um, so yeah, awareness of this and the deaths and the lives that has claimed is very important so that we can prevent more people from dying to SUD and help support people who are going through it right now. Okay, so to get more into like the drugs part of it, I want to talk specifically about and lay out for you guys what the difference between stimulants and depressants might be. So, stimulants are these are the type of drugs that are going to increase your energy and your alertness. So you're going to be a lot more active and like maybe even jittery when you have stimulants. Some examples of this are caffeine, nicotine, and some prescription drugs. So the effects of this would be like increased heart rate, blood pressure, and like feeling like you have anxiety. Depressants are more of like making you feel or slow down your reaction time and stuff like that. It slows down your CNS, your central nerve system, which is your brain and your spinal cord. So, things like alcohol, as well as some other prescription drugs, are going to slow you down. And that's the biggest reason why drinking and driving is not good. As Ethan said earlier, when you are drunk and you're driving, your central nervous system, your brain is not as active as it should be. So you're not going to be able to make those fast, life-saving decisions that you're going to need in on when you're on a road that can be so unpredictable, especially at nighttime and stuff like that. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is caffeine. Unlike beknown to a lot of people, caffeine is a drug. It is a stimulant, as I mentioned earlier. Caffeine is, while it being a drug, it is very widely used throughout the entirety of the United States and even the world. It increases alertness as we see, a lot of teachers drinking it to, stay awake or wake themselves up, or people drinking it before they get on the road after a long day of work. Um, but caffeine is found in coffee, tea, soda, and energy drinks. Energy drinks are a very big topic right now. I know there has been a rise in people, especially teenagers, drinking energy drinks such as Alani, Monster, Red Bull, all of these things that really do take uh, a toll on your health. I know personally, a lot of people at my school have been drinking energy drinks, and one girl who I'm friends with had to get a surgery done because of the amount of like caffeine that she's been consuming. A lot of them drinking like Alani's, one a day or even more to keep themselves up. But it's just like any other drug, and it's not good for you to be ta overtaking it. It has the same tendencies or withdrawal symptoms as you would have with any other drug. So you're going to feel like you need it. You're going to feel irritable. You're going to have fatigue. All these things, all these same reactions, just to any other type of drug. Um, and then over here we can see, um, oh yeah, okay. And then the next thing I want to talk about is alcohol. So, alcohol is a depressant drug that, again, like slows down the nervous system. So you're not going to be have like quick responding or anything like that. Um, your your judgment is not going to be as well, and your coordination skills are going to be off, which is why like a lot of times if someone gets pulled over and they're suspected of drinking, officers are going to make them try and walk on a straight line to like see if their coordination is on par, um and like their reaction time to like almost falling over and stuff like that. Yeah, and then all of those together, like they do increase the risk when driving. If you're not able to make those quick decisions, then it could really be the difference between life and death. And it's very important that we keep that in mind whenever we are deciding to go on the road. So, long use or heavy use can cause liver disease. You're going to be overworking your liver. Um, a lot, and then it can also cause heart problems and addiction, as well as mental health issues if you take it all the time. Um, Even though it is like widely, just like caffeine, socially accepted, it does still have very powerful effects on the both the mind and the body. So it's very important that whenever we are deciding to drink, that it's not bad to drink if you're of age, but make sure that you're just not consuming too much, and then also that you're not driving when you're drunk. Um, yeah.
That means they brought two moving trucks and things from Port Arthur. At the time,
Marijuana.
this was going under
So
construction.
in Missouri specifically
And
and like
and all
St.
the
Louis,
furniture from
marijuana is a big
storage.
like
So they
kind of
had to
issue that we have. A lot of people like to indulge in it. And marijuana is a drug that's made from the cannabis plant and it affects the brain and body. And it's an active ingredient. THC alters mood, memory, and perception. Um, THC THC is gonna bond to a receptor in the brain, and it's going to kind of like I'm pretty sure it's gonna like allow for more dopamine to be held in the brain. That way you get your high and you feel really good in the moment. But then, the problem with that is you're gonna depend on more and more and more to be and feel the same high, which is obviously not good for your mind or your body. So regular use can affect brain development, mental health, and lead to dependence and or addiction. So yeah, as I was talking about earlier, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into the science behind addiction. So addiction is actually a brain disease. You may not think that, but it really is. When you are using drugs, the you're changing the way that your brain was before. Um, I went to this program over during the fall called Teen Institute or TI with Prevent Ed. And basically, while we were there, I got to lead a activity and talk about the dendrites and all of the axon terminals that are in the brain. And one thing that we learned while we were there, or I learned, was that whenever you are taking drugs, you're going to get more dendrites and you're going to get more axon terminals. Those are like they receive signals. And those signals are going to like ask you to get more of the drug so that way you can be able to continue to you know get the same high. So once your brain gets that taste of that amount of dopamine, it's going to keep on wanting it. However, you're gonna build a tolerance to it. That's why we hear a lot of people say they have like a high tolerance to alcohol. Once you start building a tolerance, and you get deeper and deeper, that's when you're gonna start building an addiction, and stuff like that. So, the highest risk for developing addiction occurs when drug use begins in early adolescence. And this is because, as mentioned before, like the brain is not fully developed. And once they get you at a young age, it's very hard for you to stop since you've been doing it technically like for a long time by that point, once you get to an adult. Um, so yeah. Um, Substance use disorder is mainly like tied with mental health issues. So one way to like kind of see if you're about to go down that path is to look for these signs, persistent sadness or having a low mood or having excessive fears about or worries in your life as well as extreme mood changes such as like being really happy at one point and then being really sad the next. Spotting these signs are very crucial in preventing you from going to the substance in the first place. So, prevention, as I said before, starts with education, such as the Teen Institute program. Really a great program for any kid to go through in high school kids to go to. That way they can be able to learn more about all types of stuff, all types of substances and the dangers that come behind that, as well as having supportive like systems around them, friends, family, teachers, counselors, anything, just feeling like you have people there to back you up if anything did happen to go wrong. And then also making feeling like you have a safe environment, open communication, and building confidence as well as decision making skills. That way, if you are put in a situation where you are being peer pressured to take something, that you're able to stand up and advocate for yourself. And then for the protective factors, there's also, positive friendships, making sure you have those and trusted adults. Another program that TI or that Prevent Ed has is, I think it's called Teen Mental Health First Aid. So a lot of kids are gonna end up taking, I know in my school we have to take it in 10th grade anyway, but I took it before and I'm taking it again this year. But I took it before, and basically what teen mental health first aid does is they teach you a lot about mental health, but then they always emphasize, like near the end, they always emphasize that you have 5 adults that you can name, that you can trust, that if anything in your life is not feeling the way that it should, or you're not feeling the way that you should, that you can go to those one of those 5 adults and tell them about what's going on in your life so that you can stay safe and be okay. And I would recommend that for anyone really, just to make sure that they have people that they trust that they can go to with information like that. And then making sure you have extracurriculars, that you keep yourself busy, involved in the community. Um, and then also just having clear goals for like what you want your future life to be. That way, like, I want to do this, and doing drugs are going to affect me from being able to achieve what I want and stuff like that. So, for seeking help, it's very important that if you are already in a situation where you need to get help, that you find support from a crisis line called 988, which you can use, or if like it in a real situation, and then call 911 if someone else or you yourself are in immediate danger. And then also, if you're not quite having a crisis yet, it's still very important that you reach out to like a school counselor, therapist, trusted adult again, or a doctor, to help you yourself be able to get better and not have to reach that point of having a crisis. um, there's also the National Alliance on Mental Health, or NAMI, which also offers education and support, or you can text hello to that number on there for the crisis text line. It's very important that you don't feel like you're weak for searching or seeking for help. That is probably one of the strongest things that you can do to make sure that you yourself get better from substance use disorder, and so that you can be able to live the life that you want to have. And yeah, this is the program that I talked about earlier, mental health first aid training. It's for ages 14 to 18 years old. There's both for youth and adult. I think that both youth and adult need to learn. Adults can be able to look for it in their kids, or even in themselves or their friends as well, which is still important. We want to make sure that we keep each other safe, and we keep each other, together, and support each other. And yeah, so some ways that you can like maintain your mental health before it starts to, deteriorate, is you can stay physically active, um, you know, being in a sport, not necessarily even having to be in a sport, but just like going outside for a walk a day, maybe going to the gym, like eating healthy. Those types of things are the types of things that are going to keep you in your best state as well. We know that exercising releases endorphins that gives you that natural high. Instead of having to take a drug to give you a high, you're going to be able to get your natural high from eating healthy and getting good sleep and exercising. Let's make mental health a priority. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Abigail. Um, I know it's not just me that learned a lot from that. I'm pretty sure everybody else had something to take away. What you're talking about is very important: mental health, substance abuse. One thing is another, and then next thing you know it, somebody you love, or somebody that loves you is not with you anymore. So um, I feel like it takes a lot of selflessness, and a lot of courage just to be able to pick up that phone But if even pick it, but if it, no matter what, if it can save your life, I think it's worth